Everyone excited. Yeah, no, it actually starts a little bit earlier. I've been reviewing, we're going to get into that, Jen. I've been reviewing our videos and there's a delay. And when we start up our videos, you can actually see us. And it's sometimes a little kind of awkward silence because we're waiting for all these different buttons to come up, but we're getting it right. So I've got my cue when my little buttons come on, so we're good. But good morning, everyone. This is Carol Sue. You just saw us last night, AKA Naughty Boss. And we're here this morning bright and early with our guests. I'm Naughty Boss, and I'm with
TwoSistas. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Janice, AKA Wellness Diva 5.0. It's Wealth Wellness Wednesday, and we have an amazing guest on today. I'm not going to pronounce your last name because I'm not that good with pronouncing last names. But, we want to welcome to the TwoSistas podcast, Juli Madacey. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, well done.
You did it, Jan. Awesome job.
I don't know why, but I always butcher things up. So, and you really come from a very big corporate background, but I just want to say that, you are, of course, are the owner and founder of Evexia Health and Wellness. So from corporate to wellness, like, how did that happen?
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. When I was 19, I lost my mother to cancer. She was only 48. And unfortunately, back in the early 80s, we didn't know a lot about wellness and nutrition. And so my father convinced me that business was the way to go. So I studied and eventually ended up with a human resources degree, but I always pursued business as my vocation. But I always had an interest in wellness because during my mother's journey with cancer, she had seen a naturopathic doctor and actually got her cancer into remission for a while through nutritional therapies and supplementation and exercise and meditation and all those kinds of natural approaches. And so I'd always had an interest and studied those things as kind of a hobby. And interestingly, after well over 25 years in the corporate world and corporate HR specifically, we had an opportunity to move to Italy for my husband's job. And I said, okay. So I left the corporate world behind and I got to decide what I wanted to be when I grew up. And so I decided to actually pursue my passion for health and wellness and do something a bit more serious with it. And so I started studying for a variety of different certifications and kind of started on my own health journey. And here we are today. Now I've got a number of different certifications. I've been working with a holistic doctor because I had health problems of my own that I've been able to manage through working with a more natural approach. And I really believe wholeheartedly that if we took more of a focus on nutrition and prevention instead of disease management, that our society would be a lot different.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very profound. And coming from a background of where you were and losing your losing your mom at such a young age, but really kind of taking all of that and focusing on the nutrition aspect. Carol Sue and I always talk about that. For instance, maybe we have an ache or pain, whatever it may be, we go to the doctors, they diagnose whatever it is and we get a medication, boom, and that's it. Whereas if maybe we kind of took the more holistic approach and, for instance, for somebody who has like gallbladder problems, such as myself, I love cheese. Guess what? I can't eat cheese anymore. It's so, to go with those foods that, there's always alternatives, right? And, why do we, I guess, Carol, so the big question for me would be, why do we continue to punish ourselves with?
Well, I think part of it is not questioning, really what's going on internally. sometimes forget, go to the source. Like, what is the source of the root of my gut issues? And we really don't look at our diet, because when we hear the word diet, we automatically think of weight loss, transformation. But the truth of the matter is we all diet. Everyone diets because diet is eating, period. The issue with the food sources today versus when we were younger is broad-based. It's huge. A lot of, just so much junk that it goes into our food processing, and the whole processing of manufacturers of what they do, the fillers, the ingredients that most people have a really hard time pronouncing, are clues and signs. But I think the sad piece to that is those that do suffer specific things refuse to connect the dots that it's the food they're eating. And the two main issues for our gut health is sugar and is dairy. Those are the two key factors of poor gut health, because it's feeding into that bad bacteria. Now, we do need bacteria in our gut. There's a good bacteria, but we keep feeding the bad bacteria, and we don't do that analysis to say, do you love the food that much that you're going to torture your body? And that tells me they're not dealing with, sometimes food, we talk about the word comfort food, which food is good. You should have pleasure. You should have comfort with it, right? But if that comfort is almost like a scapegoat for dealing with a psychological or another issue going on with yourself, frequently you'll find those people that eat that same food that's actually torturing them, it really leads to something else. So it's really I call it a three-tiered or triangle system that we refuse to kind of identify. But we preach your gut is your second brain. It nourishes every piece of organ that's in your body, and is just as important as your brain. And people need to treat it as such and treat our bodies as this gift that we were giving, and it needs to be nourished. So I really think that the advocacy of people really sharing the importance of gut health, and it's not necessarily, yes, it could be for weight loss for some, but guess what? It could also be weight gain for some. It could be, dealing with what you're dealing with, your gallbladder. It could be Crohn's disease. It could be diabetes. It could be, a gamut of autoimmune. I mean, think about it. When you think about that, did we have all these issues like 20, 30 years ago? Not to the level we are today. And that is a testimony to the garbage that's in our food.
Yeah, definitely. And I like that you talk about holistic, because the first certification I got was as a holistic nutritionist. And one of the I just finished writing a blog post for a company I work with in Switzerland, and it's about the fact that your health encompasses a wide, broad circle of things. It isn't just about our physical health. It's about our mental health. It's about our emotional health. It's about our financial health. It's about our relationship health. It's about our quality of life. It's about doing work that fulfills us. It's about managing stress. It's about proper sleep and recovery. It's about so many other things as well. And every one of those pieces plays a part in our physical health. When you think about emotions, every time we have an emotional response or a thought, our body releases neurochemicals that have an effect on our body, and they affect our hormones, which affect our hunger and satiety levels, which affect, women, we have over 50 different hormones, right? So any of those get out of balance and we have problems. It isn't just estrogen and progesterone. There's a lot of other hormones in there. I have an autoimmune issue with my thyroid that has wreaked havoc on my body, and and goes in waves, and I have to be very careful about it. But the other thing we forget is that the symptoms we feel or experience are actually the culmination of a lot of the things happening over a period of time. So those imbalances aren't just, even the gallbladder issues or whatever. It isn't just specifically because one day your gallbladder decided to go kaput. It's because there were things leading up to that, things that were causing inflammation, things that were causing a breakdown in the systems. For me with my thyroid, the same thing. And so it's a very complex interplay of factors, and the symptoms we feel are the things that conventional medicine are treating, instead of, as you said, Carol Sue, looking for the root cause, because it's never just one thing.
Right.
And
And I think people, that's the easy way out. Sadly, we're in a society that instant gratification, instant knowledge. Let's Google this. We're going to be, that Google doctor ourselves. And we don't understand that there are so many variables that go into the fine machine that our bodies are. It's a machine. And if you're not really addressing, like you wouldn't put diesel and gasoline in a gasoline normal car. That would ruin the engine, right? We know that. There's very simplistic examples you can give it. But when you are reaching out to those that continually go to those food groups that place havoc, then you're talking about, okay, now we're talking about an emotional piece that they're not dealing with. So there's all these different things, and understanding that some of the flip side of that, some people that say crave food, not necessarily, even eating the food that's bad for them, usually that's what they're craving, but usually a craving has to do with a deficiency of your nutritional gut. There's pieces of your nutritional that's not meeting the gut needs. And usually the different categories, whether it's salt, whether it's starches, sugars, or whatever, really means a specific nutritional deficiency. People are not making that connection. Part of it, I do believe, when you look at the medical industry as a whole, your medical doctors get very little education in nutrition. They don't. That's why you thankfully a lot of medical facilities will have a nutritionist on staff. But again, going back to the normal studies that they would do versus a naturopathic that's going back to the earth and saying, geez, we've got good ingredients here, raw ingredients that specifically can address a lot of these different issues. If we get the education for people out, that it's not this like hippie 60s, like I'm going to eat the beans out of my garden, blah, 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 blah. But there's some truth to that. And I think really going back to the basics, and it's hard to rewind. We know that it is really hard to rewind to get back to the basics of things, because we've gone so much further with social media, what you see on the news, what you see as far as the internet, and then even in the grocery stores.
Well, we live in a society that doesn't value things like sleep and rest and recovery and stress management. And so it's just hurry up, do more with less, numb out. I mean, how many people do you know that say, oh, I just need to numb out. I just need to veg. I can't think anymore by the end of the day. I mean, that's not what we were designed to do. And
Right.
We're all going to have those days. We're all going to have peaks and valleys in our lives. I'm not saying we can live stress-free, but having the tools to manage that. And the other thing I think a lot of my clients, one of the first things we work on is the relationship with your body. Because a lot of times people don't even realize that they don't feel good until they start to feel better. And
Right.
because we say, I saw a doctor, a conventional doctor, for 6 years before I finally went to the holistic doctor who diagnosed my autoimmune issues. And she kept telling me that my symptoms were that's just normal. That's just part of aging. It's like, no, it isn't. I know I may not be an expert in medicine, but I'm an expert in my body, because I know what my body should feel like. And this isn't it. And, the brain fog and the lethargy and the lack of energy and the lack of motivation to feel like I even wanted to do things that I enjoyed, and then the weight gain and losing my hair and, all the other things that go along with thyroid issues. And we allow ourselves to be convinced that it's just what we have to live with, instead of saying, wait a minute, what is causing this? So instead we see all these commercials for new drugs, and we say, oh, those are all my symptoms. So we go to the doctor and say, I must need this drug. And the doctor says, okay, here you go. And then we start having other symptoms because of the drug. And so we get some drugs to take care of those symptoms, and so on and so on. And I have many cases of people I know and friends I've spoken with who either themselves or their spouses or other people in their family have just been dismissed by the doctor. And one of my friends, her husband was in his mid-30s at the time. He was on 12 different medications, felt terrible, lived on pizza and Pepsi. And she asked the doctor, can you please talk to him about eating healthier because he won't listen to me? And the doctor said his diet has nothing to do with it.
Oh, see, I totally disagree, because see, there's the pawn off. It's like the masking factor. Okay, these are your symptoms. Here's a medication. Goodbye. See ya.
Exactly.
I am not knocking those people who do need to be on medication. That's not what I'm saying. But if we take a step back and, what is our part in our health? What are we contributing? What are we not contributing?
Well, the other piece you got to think about that too, Jan, is, yes and no to that statement that you just said. Yes and no, because there are a lot of people that do not need to be on medication. We have to understand that the pharmaceutical industry is $1 billion industry, and who are their servants, the doctors, to push these medications on people. And I would bet to say probably 8 out of 10 people, maybe 7 out of 10 people, there would be healthier alternatives, going back to understanding what the root cause is that's causing their issue. And the biggest one that we know is inflammation all over the body, and saying, what can I do to try to clean up my diet? And when I say clean up my diet, I'm not referring to just eating celery sticks and carrot sticks. Right. I'm eating good, healthy grains, good, all colors of the rainbow, the whole 9 yards, and getting to the root cause of, am I eating a lot of processed foods? Am I overloaded with dairy? This whole dairy does the body good is a phenomenon that's a bunch of malarkey. That we as a society have been forced to grow up with and believe. So I truly believe that, yes, while there are certain situations where medication is the only thing, I would beg to differ. That I would say that probably a lot of people that are on a medication could eventually get off. And I'm not saying, oh my God, stop your medication, go right to, a healthy diet, or going back to, eating clean. You never, ever want to just stop your medication. You want to be under doctor's supervision. But I would question the doctor and say, look, I want to try a more holistic approach. Are you partnering with me? And guess what? If that doctor's not willing to partner with you, get the hell out of there. I mean, we have consumers have a right to say, look, I want to do better for my body. I want to do better for my health and wellness. And I know that I believe that some of the things that are contributing to why I feel such like crap is because of, I realize I could be doing better. Now, take that a step further. Say you do start eating clean and you're still not getting the results. It may be different food groups. It's not a quick all fix all for everybody. And I think we have to slow down, be patient with ourselves. We are our best advocate, like you were saying, like we know our body's best.
Yeah, and you're right. It is a process, and it takes experimentation, and it can take years. I've been working on this, issue for myself, for my thyroid issues. I've been working on this for probably over 10 years now, but closer to 12 years. And that's okay, because I learn as I go. And because I got things in balance, I got my Hashimoto's in remission for a while, my body changed when I went into menopause. And so everything went out of balance again. And so health isn't like you get to this destination and then you stop. This is an ongoing thing, because every 7 years our bodies undergo a pretty major change, and we have to learn to adapt and change with them. And right. There isn't one, like as you said, there isn't one right diet for everyone, and that's why these gurus, these personalities on social media who are pushing. This is the thing. This is the answer. This is the way. Run as fast as you can from them, because there isn't one best diet for everybody. We all have a different genetic makeup. We all have a different physiology. We all have a different health profile. We all have a different life experience, stress, recovery, everything about us other than being biologically similar, we're all different and need to have an approach that works specifically for our needs. But one thing I will say is that when you think about it, this is one of the things I love about my doctor. Talking about medications, high cholesterol is not the result of a statin drug deficiency. It's a result of a blocked metabolic pathway or a nutrient deficiency or something else going on in the body. And he goes on further to say that there are only two causes of every single disease there is in the world. It's either an insult to the body by injury or a bacteria or a virus or something external, or it's a nutrient deficiency that causes malfunction somewhere in the body and allows either sick cells to proliferate or stops an essential function or whatever it is. And that's it. If you look at every illness and disease that you know of, it's one of those two causes.
True.
And so instead of complicating our approach and trying to, decide that we have to do this super difficult, complex approach to getting healthy, keep it simple and think about where those imbalances are coming from in your life and your body, and choose one pathway to work on first. Don't try to do everything all at once, and choose one thing to focus on and focus on that for a while. And you'll learn pretty quickly what's working, what's not working, and what might I need to adjust. But that's where it helps to work with a holistic doctor, a coach who knows about this kind of thing, who has the right qualifications and credentials, instead of some social media personality who's just trying to get you to buy their products or follow their.
Right. And not only that, with the whole, obviously, we've all heard Kardashian's being sued, and she's agreed to pay, over $1 million on her reference of what she was promoting. And a lot of people, layman people, just don't understand that an influencer usually gets paid to represent whatever company product that they're pushing. So they are the least likely, unless it happens to do within their specific field. Now, if she wanted to sell the greatest photographer of all time to get that best angle of your body, yeah, I'd probably talk to Kardashian on that one. But she would not be necessarily a person that I would choose to give me a financial direction, since we are talking about Wealth Wellness Wednesday. So yeah. I think the society puts too much emphasis on that influencer, that, they're recommending this diet program, that diet program. And yeah, they may have had some success, but it was probably boosted by, a little bonus.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, I was just contacted by somebody who is, represents an MLM company, and I have this great product and it's all natural and it would be so good for your clients. It's like, it's not part of my business model to promote products, because while there are lots of really good products out there, they come from many different places. And a lot of the MLM people who sell, and I have nothing against some of those products, but think about it. If you have to, what is their background? They're promoting these things. They're trying to explain to you, they're reading a pamphlet about the products they're selling, and then they're going and positioning themselves as health coaches because they have these great things, and they can tell you all about the nutrient deficiencies and the profiles of the products and whatever, but they don't actually know what they're talking about. And those products aren't necessarily right for every person they talk to. And so, I always say buyer beware, because it's, who stands to benefit from this, and what is the ultimate outcome? Do I end up having to stay on this product for the rest of my life, or is it something I can take until I get my body into a balance, and then I can stop taking for a while?
Well, the other thing too is, I wanted to back up a little bit. When you think of wellness overall, it's a masking. It's a big umbrella. And if we were the ones that kind of took control of that, I think there is a fear associated with having that conversation with, your healthcare professional, when we really should be. And as knowledgeable as I am as a health coach and promoting different things, I'm well of things that, I'm very aware of things that I do know, but what I don't know, but what I always interject with, I had a great conversation yesterday with my physician and we were going over the results. And I said, this is what I don't want. And this is what I could do. And she was like, wait, she was proud that I came to the table with a solution kind of ahead of time without really knowing the results. But I guess what I'm trying to say is everyone out there listening to my voice, we all need to take possession of our health in a way that works with our lifestyle. I look back on my journey, we talk about my journey a lot. I lost over 130 pounds. I've kept it off for, 15, 16 years, but I'm still a work in progress. It never ends. You get a little older, things start to happen, and you have to take control of your health.
Yeah, we are responsible. Nobody else can do it for us. Nobody can control what goes in here. Nobody can control what happens in our minds. Nobody can control how or when we move our body. And I've had, I don't know why, but after I turned 40, I just suddenly became an expert in finding new and interesting ways to hurt myself. And so I've been through so many different injuries and setbacks physically. But one of the great things I've discovered during each of my recovery periods is that whatever you're dealing with, there's still a way that you can take care of your body. If you can't move very much, you can change the way and the amount that you eat, because if you're not moving very much, you don't need as much intake, right? You always need to stay hydrated. If you are injured in some part of your body, there are usually exercises or some form of movement that you can do, whatever your limitations are. I had a friend who has a son who's wheelchair bound, and I found chair workouts that they do. And I have a friend who drove a semi truck, and she also got in the best shape of her life doing seated workouts while she wasn't driving. And, there are even, I worked with an 85-year-old man who was bedridden, and the doctor basically told him he was going to die. And he had all kinds of health issues and couldn't move, couldn't walk. And his grandson came after a visit to China and taught him how to do Tai Chi. And he started in his bed, just doing the mental work, and then doing some breathing, and then doing some gentle movement with his arms. And within about 8 months, he got up and walked into his doctor's office. He said his doctor just about fell off his chair. He wouldn't believe it. That
Wow.
was able to recover. And I'm not saying that you can, absolutely reverse everything that ever happens to you, but there's usually something. There's always an option of some sort, but it's a matter of deciding that that's important to you, or deciding that it isn't, and then living with that and taking responsibility for that decision.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought up the point about being with options. So I do want to put a disclaimer out there for a lot of our viewers. Janice and I, as most people know, we are in direct sales. We value that industry, and we are in the health and wellness business. And I want to make sure that we let people know that there's not one coach, there's not one doctor, there's not one direct sales company, there's not one specific area that is going to fit all. And I want to make sure that we're not disrespecting a great industry that is really providing education on gut health, but not only that are really producing a lot of people that they might not necessarily have that health coach background per se, but they are living their true best selves by feeling better and sharing that, whatever they're promoting, that it has impacted their lives. So I want to make sure that we are respecting all industries. We're real good about that. And I absolutely appreciate your perspective on that. It is a good source for a lot of people because sadly, a lot of people may not be able to have the avenue to, have the garden, to get all those. I mean, organic is extremely expensive. I'm proud of the company, and as well as Jan, that we represent. It is a plant-based company. And it has, I think we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary. And it was life-changing for me, life-changing for Jan. So we just want to make sure that, we are not disrespecting that industry as a whole.
No, and I didn't mean any disrespect by that. Like I said, there are some really great products out there, but again, because and most people who get into this line of work get into it because they've had a personal transformation.
Right.
I'm no exception to that.
Right.
And what I love about our world now is that there's so much opportunity to become educated and to actually learn and know. And even if you don't do it to sell a product or sell a service, there's still a lot of education available for people. And it's just a matter of taking care to focus on the right things so that you're getting good information. I mean, I saw a company that was promoting, you can become a certified health coach in 30 days or nutrition coach in 30 days. That's not enough time to learn very much about nutrition. And you can, yes, there's this time to learn a lot about nutrition, but again, I caution people to take care, to understand. And I don't want to discount the knowledge of a lot of these companies. As I said, I've taken a lot of the products myself, and I think there are many good products out there. But as you said, there's no one particular product that's best for everybody. And the people who are representing the companies, I think, have a responsibility as well to become as educated as possible. Because
I agree on that. Yeah, absolutely. It actually only, I mean, a lot of people just go by their own experience, and then it actually pushes them in that industry. And that's one of the plus things about it. When you realize, wow, I've taken something, now I understand that I need supplementation. I cannot eat a healthy, complete functioning lifestyle without added nutrition, because then I'm not going to always get in food. So I think it's one of the beautiful things about that, whatever company or whatever person's promoting is, 9 out of 10 times it does push that person into digging deep to get better educated on that particular field just by seeing their own body change. So that's one of the beautiful blessings of that. How can our viewers and listeners reach you?
Sure. I have my website, which is evexiahealth.com, and that's Evexia. And by the way, Evexia is Greek for well-being, which is why I chose that name. So I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. So I would love to connect with people. I do have, if anyone's interested, they can go through either my Instagram or my website and sign up for a free ebook that I've written that is 10 proven strategies to lose weight without dieting.
Nice.
And that's available for free. It's a good resource. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Wonderful. And of course, we will make sure that all that information gets in the show notes. We have so enjoyed this conversation today, and our wellness is within our purview. We are responsible for ourselves, and that's the bottom line. And I know firsthand, we all know firsthand how hard it is to take a good look at yourself, and what are we contributing, or are we not contributing to our own wellness? And on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Carol Sue to just chat very quickly about Wealth Wellness Wednesday.
That's right. Everyone knows this is one of my favorite days of the week. That is when we embrace and understand to have that healthy relationship with finances, with money, right? Mindset. And we always talk about how can you actually, as an entrepreneur, put it out in the universe. We already know that our thoughts are electrical currents. We want to put out good vibes out there. We want to impact people. So this has nothing to do with donating to your favorite charity. It's an act of kindness to a random stranger. So it's a random act of kindness to someone that you do not know. So what does that mean? It's putting it out. It's the physical act. It has nothing to do with the dollar amount either. It could be $1, it could be $5, whatever floats your boat, but it's really impacting someone that you don't know. I'm going to give you a couple short little ways to do that. Say you're in Walmart or one of your favorite stores, that's that catch-all store. groceries, clothes, cat food, you name it, it's in there, right? Even sports equipment. Maybe go down the sports aisle. Maybe you know somebody that they're trying to get fit again, right? Stick a little bill in one of the boxes, right? That's a great way of doing it. We always know that a lot of people love their pets. So as part of their family, go down the cat food aisle. Again, put a couple bills in here or there. Baby food aisle, right? You know, how many people are struggling for that formula, for those diapers? It's just a great way for you to change that mindset you're putting out in the universe, that you're sharing and caring about wealth and wellness and impacting. And because the bottom line with an entrepreneur, the more you make, the more you can impact. You know, maybe now, would it be pretty cool to just write out that check to that church that their burner just left? Or how about all the people that are struggling in the West Coast of Florida? You know, knowing that you could go there and not think twice about writing that check to help people out. The whole point is you got to start somewhere and pushing that kindness train and really understand that a healthy relationship with money, mindset, and your wealth and your wellness all combined is good spirit. So that's pretty much what it is. We hope that you enjoyed this episode, this show today. We so much enjoyed you. You gave so much value, so much input. We appreciate you. We hope you come back on again. And with that, we are wishing you a great Wellness Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow for Trending Thursday. Let's start off by being the trendsetters ourselves. Take care, everyone. This is Carol, so AKA Naughty Boss, live with
TwoSistas. Hey, this is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0, and I'm loving my lipstick today. Have a great day, everyone. Bye for now.